The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Virtuosos. This is your host, Demond Crittner.
And I'm Jules Houston.
All right, man. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Nip it in the butt early, cause we went an episode with just me and Jules, and y'all thought I'd replace Dame. All right, Jules is not being replaced.
Yeah, I'm right here.
You know what I mean?
So,
He's right there. Clearly, Dame just wasn't fit. You know what I mean? Couldn't be here no more. So
wasn't a good member of the team, so we had to replace him.
you know what I'm saying? Dolphins winning too much, so gotta chill.
Said his Thunder lost last night, so he couldn't be here.
Bulls 22-point lead.
He out with a stomach ache until further notice.
You know what I mean? But it's all cool though. So let's go ahead and talk about NFL trade deadline, man. NFL trade deadline again.
Disgusting. Poo-poo.
In my opinion, all right, there's another year being trash. All right? Another year being trash.
Last year's was good, man. Last year's was fun.
Yeah, it was better than this year. But
this
I feel like,
man. 9 times out of 10 though, it is usually pretty whack.
Yeah, it's
like you compare the NBA trade deadline and you compare this one, it's not even comparable.
I feel like March trades is better than the whole season, by far.
Right.
Like one or two trades in March is just better than the whole NFL season.
Absolutely.
So, obviously the ones that highlight the most, Leonard Williams being traded and Chase Young
and Montez
Sweat. But
which Washington, it just kind of feels like they gave up at that rate. Leonard Williams got the Giants back a second and a fifth, and Chase Young and Montez Sweat got the Commanders back a second and a third.
Yep,
that's pretty disgusting. In all honesty,
for top
a second overall pick, and then you got Montez Sweat, who has been solid for them for years. So, for them to basically part with these guys right at the end, didn't even give Chase Young his option back. I know he was hurt. Yep. At least pick up the option, let him get one more year.
Yeah, one more year.
To sell him out for a third-round pick is kind of like, all right. Especially to a team that's already – I know they're on a skid right now, but, the Niners are still a top team in the NFC.
And they're in the NFC.
Exactly. So it's like you didn't even help yourselves. And they traded both guys to NFC teams. I know the Bears are obviously not competing yet, but still.
I'll take the Bears pick, though. That Bears pick, in my opinion, is
dude, they gave up I can't believe the Bears gave up their own pick. I thought they were going to give up, somebody else's second-round pick.
Yeah,
I know they got a bunch, but to give up your own pick when you're already what are they, 2-6, 2-5?
That's gonna damn near be a first round pick.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally just about what they gave for Chase Claypool. Pretty much.
How Chase Claypool doing over there?
He had a catch.
He had a
catch. He had his first catch against the Patriots, so that was pretty fun.
Oh, he did. Didn't he get a special teams tackle too?
Yeah. He was our highest graded blocker.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he be doing that thing.
Yeah, in my opinion though, I think they need to push it back a little bit.
Yeah.
The Commanders, they play us this week. So, I thought we was going to lose that game, but there's no way we lose now.
Yeah, you should. You guys should be able to beat them.
So, but, they got rid of half of their, damn near their whole pass rush. But in my opinion, they need to move it back a little bit more. Some teams that, kind of need a week or two more to figure it out. You also added another week onto the season.
Yeah, so I would say week 10 probably would help them. Week 10, that's basically it's like a halfway point. I get week 8 used to be the old halfway point, but you add in the extra week.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? Week 9, you don't want to do it on an odd number either. I think week 10 would work. I think that would give teams a little bit more time to kind of scout around and see what's available or talk things out. I saw that the Giants had a trade in place with Adoree Jackson to – forgot who. I think the Niners wanted Adoree Jackson, and then the Giants missed the deadline.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying, timing like that is really important, and when these teams aren't on top of it, trades like that fall through.
Yeah, in my opinion, move it back a week or two, and then you gotta think some teams, they really evaluate their teams during the bye. Some teams don't get a bye and really evaluate their team. They just you know what, we play this team Sunday, we kind of need to do it today.
Let's just go through and see what happens.
You know what I mean? See what happens. So. That's just our opinions on the NFL trade deadline. Speaking of trades, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
But speaking of trades, NBA, James Harden was traded to the Los Angeles Clippers for Batum, Marcus Morris.
It's a bunch of nothing.
Yeah, the Thunder. I don't know how the Thunder. I wake up the Thunder's in a trade. Thunder just need a pick somehow.
We're just involved in things that we shouldn't even be involved in.
I don't even know, but What is your opinion on the trade?
It's the same thing every time James Harden gets traded. I saw a tweet that like encapsulated it perfectly. It's like the happiest day of NBA fans' lives is when your team trades for James Harden and when your team trades away James Harden. Mm-hmm. And it's just what it is. James Harden has not been happy on an NBA team since like when he first got to the Rockets.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time he was like fully happy with a team he was on. He forced his way out of Houston, ended up in Brooklyn. Did not last in Brooklyn.
Didn't last in Brooklyn.
Forced his way out of Brooklyn, made it to 76ers. Then Daryl Morey is apparently Adolf Hitler. And he couldn't trust him. And so, he was like, I need out of Philadelphia now. So now you end up on LA. And LA was literally who played their best basketball probably all season last night against the Lakers, still lost.
Still lost.
Paul George had 38, Kawhi had like 35, and Westbrook had 24. Mm-hmm. And they still lost.
Still lost.
So I just don't know, and that lack of depth kind of showed up last night.
Yep.
Where, nobody outside of those three really contributed in a way that mattered.
Norman Powell had a bad.
Yeah, so he shot
pick.
Shot 6 for 14. And he's really probably their best. Bones Highland's still good, but Bones Highland didn't have a good game last night either, shooting wise. So it'll be interesting to see once Harden's in the lineup. I just don't. I mean, you're just gonna run Westbrook, Harden, Paul George, Kawhi, and then just Zubats, and then your bench is just gonna fight for its life. I mean, like I said, Norman Powell and Bones Highland are good players, and they can definitely score off the bench. It's just it'll be interesting to see how that works. Every time they try to run those lineups like that, man, they don't work out. They don't mesh.
Yeah, I think if they really stagger their minutes good, I think it would be
that's what they need to
pick
do.
Up. It's just hard to really rate Harden nowadays. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player. Like, he's still a, somewhat of an all-star caliber player. He can still give you probably 20 and 10 a night. It's just hard because not only is he on a 1-year deal, but like this is his third team in like 4 years.
Yeah,
can't really trust it. Like,
it ain't even about the on the court stuff anymore. Honestly, like. It's just about how much he causes off the court nowadays too. I mean,
distractions
on the court. I mean, he still does have his moments where he's like, oh man, this is like prime Harden. He's making the right passes and the right moves. Especially like he's definitely a great passer now. We can't deny that. But I thought that the Sixers were the best spot for him possible.
Easily,
and the fact that it didn't work out. In that, I just don't see how it's going to work out now with 3 other guys around him like that. I will say, as a Thunder fan, it's cool to see Westbrook and Harden finally reunited, even if it is on another team. It's cool to see that, but I don't know. The Clippers kind of just putting it all on the line and saying, okay, well, we're just going to take all these guys right now in the mid of their prime to the end of it and just ride it out and see what happens.
Because I was saying that this is probably going to be the last year for the Clippers to contend. I don't think Kawhi and Paul George are under contract this year, and I think James Harden is on the last year of his deal. So James Harden is just going to come and just fuck them all over. They're done after this year. Like, James Harden going to come, they're going to lose in like the first, second round, and they're cooked. They all going to leave. Well, the only one I could see not leaving is Kawhi, but I think Kawhi is like, he's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, he don't give a fuck no more.
I don't even hear about Kawhi no more, man. Yeah, he just stays so out the way.
He got his shit, he good, but I could definitely see the Clippers just getting rid of their team after this year. I don't see Harden coming back. Again, Harden's probably gonna be another team next year.
Are they still under how much time do they have left on their contracts?
I think this is their last year in their contracts, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is their last year.
That's an interesting one.
And James Harden is definitely on his last year.
Well, yeah, I know Harden was definitely a win when he traded over.
And Westbrook only signed for a 1-year deal. So a lot of their guys is on 1-year deals. So you don't win this year. Again, they're very unfortunate with health issues. But, James Harden, Kawhi misses 5 or 10 games. Paul George misses 5 or 10 games. James Harden's going to step up for them. But I think come playoff time, it's just...
Oh, so Paul George just extended himself with the Clippers.
Oh, Paul George extended himself?
Yeah, so 4 days ago, it says, according to Woj, he had a new 4-year deal adding $190 million to his contract. So Paul George is there to stay.
Okay, Kawhi? What about Kawhi?
Let me see.
So Paul George is staying. I mean, okay. Not that bad. I mean... You probably do still lose Harden this year because, he probably can get a little bit more money elsewhere, but keeping Paul George and Kawhi is...
this does seem like... Okay, yeah, so we're 20, he has 1 more year left.
Okay.
So he has a player option after next year. 2024, 2025, he has a player option.
Okay. So
he'll be hit free agency in 2025. So they basically got Paul George for 4 more years. And then Kawhi for 2 more years.
Okay.
But Harden and Westbrook are still 1 years.
Okay, yeah. So I could see them losing one of those players at the end of this next season. But all in all, solid trade, I guess, for both sides. Again, you don't have much leverage when you're trading a player that's not going to play for you again. So.
I think the Sixers were really intent on keeping Harden until Maxey had a good start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Maxey had a good first 2 or 3 games.
It was like,
yeah, once they saw Maxey was like actually able to kind of like carry the load and do a little bit more than what they probably expected him to, they were like, yeah, we'll ship you off.
We need some more depth.
Although, it is funny too, because somebody else pointed out the other day, why is every single time Harden gets moved, PJ Tucker does?
Yeah, like
PJ Tucker, they got to be in each other's contracts, bro.
PJ
Tucker gets kicked off every team that Harden goes to.
Bro, PJ Tucker, literally, I'm not gonna lie. I think PJ Tucker was on the Bucks. They won a championship, and then he went to the Heat. And James Harden.
It was horrible for the Heat, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Horrible year for the Heat.
James Harden requested a trade. He's like, oh, he come to the Heat. He don't go to the Heat. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do next year? Go to the Sixers. Like, all right, bro.
Went to the Sixers, got moved to the Clippers, and then off the Clippers went back to the Sixers. Like, all right, man. Like, they're just involved with everybody.
Everything.
No matter what.
All right, it's cool though. You know what I'm saying? Because all you gotta do is play defense and corner sit, but it's cool, I guess. So.
Yeah, I mean, PJ Tucker is definitely an important piece. I mean, if he play, the defense is really what matters. I mean, if he could hit a couple threes here and there, that's obviously really good. But his defense is what he brings. And so
38 years old, I guess. Going out there guard LeBron.
Go check our best. Go check the best player, bro.
But speaking of, since Jules got fired, I guess we could speak on it real quick. The Raiders probably about to head towards rebuild mode.
Haven't they been in rebuild mode?
Them motherfuckers been in mid, just mid.
Like,
man.
oh my goodness.
Their last good moment was the damn Tucker rule. Like at that rate. I mean, goddamn. I mean, they did have Khalil Mack. They did have Khalil Mack.
Their best year ever ended with Derek Carr getting his ankle broken.
Like that's
they went like 12-4. Had an easy chance to like go deep. Derek Carr breaks his leg.
Yeah, over.
And after that, it just fell apart. And it's just like a weird thing with the Raiders, man. Like nobody thought Josh McDaniels was a good hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Like absolutely nobody, at least not that I saw or talked to, thought, oh, Josh McDaniels, that's got to be the one we got to hire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he hitched his trailer to Tim Tebow in Denver, coached for 8 hours in Indy, and then went to the Raiders for 2 years and hitched his trailer to Jimmy Garoppolo. It was destined to fail.
And here's my thing as a Patriots fan. A lot of things that Josh McDaniels did was like, again, like I'm one of those ones like, okay, you can say Brady was the whole damn team, all right. Obviously, looking at it now, like it looks like that, but there's also an offense, a defense, and special teams. Like people have to coach that.
Right.
Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady was a co-op.
No, yeah, I mean they were literally.
That's more of a co-op than him and Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
So things that Brady didn't like, Josh McDaniels would tweak. But he was basically catering to Brady.
Yeah, you can't. Not when you're catering to other quarterbacks that aren't as skilled.
That's what I'm saying. You're catering to Jimmy G, and Devontae Adams is unhappy, and Josh Jacobs is unhappy. The whole team is unhappy. Nobody wants to be like Vegas is a great ass city, and nobody wants to play for the Raiders. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like playing in Vegas alone should attract you people, Mm-hmm. So when you got players there that are just like, yeah, man, I don't want to do this no more.
They
like,
don't.
Josh Jacobs is saying it's not his job to fix the offense.
It's not.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Like it's not his job. But they say like you don't see stuff like that. Like Devontae Adams is literally like not talking to the media because he doesn't want to say something that's gonna get blown out of context.
Yep.
Like, so that that's when you know that they're clearly not in a good position as a team. And I'm honestly surprised it took this long to fire Josh McDaniels.
Yep.
But it kind of just feels like this is exactly what happened with Gruden. You throw this massive contract out at a coach.
Mm-hmm.
They go a couple years. They're mediocre.
Don't do shit.
And then you got to pay them off in the next 5-6 years anyways. Like Josh McDaniels don't have to coach anymore.
He don't.
He could go retire, and he don't even got to go back to the Patriots or anywhere. He could literally just go and retire.
He don't gotta come back.
He can literally retire and be fine because they got to pay him for the next 4 years anyways. So
yeah, nah. He should just retire.
Getting paid as a head coach and getting fired is like the American dream.
That's what I'm saying. You just sit back, watch the team, watch the Raiders be ass.
I would happily accept a 6-year deal as a coach and go 0-16 back-to-back years and then get fired.
Like
because I would never have to work again.
Watch the Raiders be ass for another 3-4 years and you getting paid for it. Like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then what do the Raiders even do? Like who wants to coach you at this point?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, you got to go out there and get a young guy. But what do they have that's going to lure in a Ben Johnson or lure in any of these younger like coordinators that want to be head coaches? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where it's like they don't have any. I mean, Devontae Adams is there and Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs on a 1-year deal, so are you going to go get him again? Devontae Adams literally came to Las Vegas for Derek Carr.
He said,
and then they said, get out of here, Derek Carr. We don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
So
literally every interview, he's like, "Well, I came here for Derek Carr, but he's not here anymore, so I'm just playing football now." Like, basically saying, "Get me the fuck out of here, please." Like,
yeah, and I knew they wouldn't trade him. You're not going to trade Devontae Adams, but it's just but it's weird, man.
Yeah, they're in a bad spot, horrible spot, because you won so many games. It's like you might get a top 6-7 pick. Like, you won, 3 games? You got the Patriots with 2 wins, Bears with 2 wins, Panthers with 1 win, Cardinals with 1 win, 2 wins.
That's what I'm saying. There's just a lot of bad teams. Like,
yeah,
even
a lot
with the
of bad
Raiders,
teams.
it's
So
They're not 500 since moving to Vegas. They're under 500.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they haven't even been good since they moved. So it's like
move back.
One advantage they have is
not
that
back to Oakland.
they don't have a lot of people on that team that are worth anything.
No.
So you could get, like, if you do like kind of a rebuild where you go and get a young guy and you give him some time and you get a new general manager and you say, listen, we got a lot of room. We're building this team we're just going to start over. If they're literally that's their only option, because there's a lot of money in that team though. So there's a lot of desire to make that team successful. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
see.
it's like their rebuild spot outside of like Max Crosby and Devontae Adams. Like, why would I call anybody over there?
No,
They have
that's what I'm
nobody.
saying. Like, there's nobody worth trading for on that team outside of those two.
Nobody.
And then, like, even with, like, Jacoby Myers is playing good, but it's just at the end of the day,
Nobody's
it's like
calling
whatever.
Jacoby
Like, he did
Myers,
that's what I'm saying.
No
Like,
disrespect. That's my guy, but come on, bro. I'm not calling for Jacoby.
and then even like they really need to hit on a GM, man, because their picks have not been good in a while. Max Crosby was a steal, obviously, in the later rounds. I haven't really heard much about Tyree Wilson, so I'm not going to speak on him and act like I know what I'm talking about. But it's just like a weird thing right now where it's like their GM right now, I feel like, is more important. Obviously head coach is going to play a big part once the team plays.
Yep.
They need a GM to start hitting on some picks.
Yeah, they do.
Because they have Mike Mayock, I'm pretty sure that was the one before, and he missed on a lot of players.
And then they had Dave.
And that was Dave's, it was like Ziegler or whatever they
from
just
the
had,
Patriots,
and he didn't do much better. So
He didn't at all, man. They're in the tough
literally,
spot.
like Alex Leatherwood was a first round pick, and they cut him like a year after. Maurig was a good pick in the second round, but
It's like they're mid everywhere outside of Devontae Adams, like literally.
and then you still got Jimmy Garoppolo for like 3 more years.
You got Jimmy G. He's
Like,
going to be your damn
And
backup
it was saying he's gonna be your backup. You're paying your backup quarterback a lot of money
lot of
basically
money.
because they literally already said that Aiden O'Connell starting this week, and you're probably gonna hit your trailer to him the rest of the season.
Yep.
So
You're gonna have to probably move. You're gonna have to move one of those top pieces. Top pieces, as in Crosby or Adams,
At
and,
the
and,
S.
and get in the top 3 somehow, top 4. I don't
go
know.
get a quarterback
You're
and
gonna have to.
just start from scratch, man.
Yeah, man. But, whew, interesting spot they're in. All right, MMA and boxing crossovers. All right, Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fought. I don't know if you watched the fight.
Yeah, I
but
didn't watch it, but I heard about all of it. So
I watched the fight. All right, and okay, I'm not gonna lie. Francis is a big ass dude, bro. He like 6'7", 270.
Tyson
Tyson Fury is 6'9", 280. So it's 2 big ass behemoths in the ring.
Somebody posted a picture of them though side by side, and like their like builds are so different.
That's what I'm saying,
They're
like-
similar sizes, but their builds are insanely different. Like
So
Francis do not need to be looking like that. At
exactly,
6'7".
bro. Like
you are
fucking big
literally
as fuck.
D's, bro.
Big as fuck. So, I'm watching the fight, and, I watch some Francis MMA fights, and, he gasses out sometimes, and he breathes a lot with his mouth open. So I'm thinking, okay, Tyson is going to outbox him for, a few rounds, probably finish him. I get to, like, the 3rd, 4th round. I look up, like, I'm on my phone or whatever. I look up, Fury's on the ground.
Dude.
I'm like, whoa, like,
That's all they were talking about on Twitter, so they kept posting them clips. Like, he was getting knocked down.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like, yo, Ngannou is straight whooping his, like, not whooping his
but
ass, but,
give-
like,
pushing for a UFC fighter to get in the ring like that.
That's
and
what I'm saying,
push,
like, pushing
Tyson
him.
Fury is kind of crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Mind you, we had to wait an hour to watch the fight. Like, come on, bro. We were in an hour for this. So, Francis putting it on him, and, Fury kind of fighting back at the end. So, at the end of the fight, I'm like, listen, if Fury didn't have a fight scheduled, he would have lost that fight. That's why I do not like boxing. Boxing is just, to me, feels so rigged.
Yeah, that's
like,
what a lot of people said too. Was like
it's
that was
just-
the big like. So I don't know boxing or MMA like that, so I kind of just let you guys usually talk about it. But that was the big talking point that everybody had, where they feel like that's why boxing feels so rigged nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like there's no way that Fury should have won that by decision.
Yeah,
with the way
it's
that
just-
Ngannou came out there and fought.
it's so much like, if Fury wasn't a champion, and if it didn't go towards his record,
I
and he
think
didn't have a box.
I think that's what it is. It's just it's how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the optics of it all.
yeah, it's
You
just,
know what I'm saying? Like, he's already a champion, then you go out there and you lose to a UFC fighter that doesn't have boxing experience, at least as far as I know.
Like, come
not
on,
boxing
bro.
in that pedigree. And then especially if it adds onto your record, and then it's like, oh shit, well,
Yeah,
maybe
bro.
we don't want to give you this loss.
shit is just trash.
That's
And then
been, said,
somebody,
that's been said for years though, that boxing is like
yeah, that's why I really can't get into boxing as much as I want to, because the shit just feels so, like, they really said 96, 93 Fury. I said, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know
Like,
a lot of people had a lot of disagreements about that.
that is
score, too.
horrible, bro.
To even have a 3-point difference like that is pretty bad.
Horrible, bro. I'm like, where did you get 3? Like, you literally got knocked down in the fight. How the fuck
Yeah,
did
that's
you
what
win?
really confuses me is like, how do you even get a 3-point lead with when you get knocked down and you didn't do that back? You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
come on,
And then on top of
bro.
that, you literally got caught on camera throwing an elbow. It's like,
I'm like, yo, if Ngannou didn't do MMA, he
They
would have
literally put him down. That's
You'd
what
have
I'm
been
saying.
asleep.
I was like,
I'm
he
like,
ate that
yo.
shit because of the fact that he literally is used to it. But
Like, that shit is crazy, man. But shout out Ngannou, man. He held it down. Probably not gonna be many boxing MMA crossovers in my opinion. I just Conor was like the biggest star, and like he's damn near washed at this point. So,
yeah, it's just not something that happens often.
Yeah, and definitely boxers aren't gonna come to MMA. So I ain't even really about to entertain that much. But Ngannou did great for the platform he was given, the shit that he came from. But overall, don't see many boxing MMA crossovers in the future. Especially after this one. It's too much of a risk. It's just too much of a risk for both sides to get embarrassed. But, there's that. Speaking of boxing, you know what I'm saying? We don't have many fighters right now in the MCU. I'll tell you that much. We don't have many people fighting. Like I said, we've been saying this, kind of over the last few months. We probably could beat the Avengers right now.
Yeah.
Like, if we was in the MCU right now, like, who gonna stop us? Kate Bishop?
How far this goes back, and we're gonna talk about this now because the MCU is heading for a rough patch.
They're cooked.
They're done for. At least right now, I know that the popularity is always going to be there. It seems like even they don't know where they want to go with this stuff right now going forward. And we've been saying this, me and Jules, when we started this podcast back in May, we've been saying this since the beginning, that the MCU is on a path that they don't seem to know where it ends at. Mm-hmm. Ant-Man did not meet their expectations. I don't think it met any fans' expectations either.
All.
And, ever since then, it kind of just felt like they were confused as to where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And now it feels like they're at a point where they're like, maybe we should just fix everything now and just say, they haven't. The whole phase has been bad. This is phase. What is this? Phase 4, phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is phase 5.
I think this started. I think
this started 5. Phase 5
5
just started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Phase 4 wasn't considered very weak. Obviously, phase 5 is not off to a great start either. And they need to work on something now. And now you get all these reports coming out about how they want to bring back some of the older Avengers, which to me is not going to fix anything. Mm-hmm. Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are not going to fix the problems that we have right now. I'm trying to find the stuff right now.
Well, I'll say this, though, while you're looking for it. Me and Jules recorded a podcast last year.
I remember this because
we were just dogging MCU.
I remember.
And then
this.
they came out with some things, and we're like, okay,
Because I remember because literally Jules told me you guys were recording that, and like I started blowing Jules' phone up because you guys were recording, bro. And literally as y'all were doing that, they were at Comic-Con announcing all the big stuff as you guys were going. But then but that stuff all gets. And I'm gonna let you continue with your story after. That all got contradicted anyways because Marvel literally came out this year and said that Kevin Feige and all them were literally like pressured by the higher ups to release news for stuff they weren't ready for. Mm-hmm. To announce Blade, to announce Fantastic Four when that was all 5-6 years away. Like there's no reason to be announcing that early.
Yeah, that early. Like it's just we been knew that they were heading towards a rough spot. Obviously after Avengers Endgame. You're going to have to retool, rebuild, some characters up. COVID again happened. I don't think they dropped anything in 2020. And then, you start off in 2021, you drop WandaVision. WandaVision wasn't horrible, wasn't great. But then really you give us Black Widow 3 years late.
Shang-Chi was good.
Shang-Chi was good.
I think for the time, but like I said, it was just tough. Like, Marvel needed to continue with characters that they shouldn't. Marvel's biggest issue they had after Endgame was introducing new characters too quickly. Mm-hmm. You had characters that were already established, and they should have got stories more going forward, rather than just throwing in new characters and hoping for the best. I know COVID really hurt Marvel's plans.
That whole year.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I get that. I'm saying like I do give them a bit of a pass for that because. Everybody there. I mean, you literally can go back and compare timelines from right before COVID happened to after, and it completely switched everything. Yep. So I know that's why the story sometimes feels convoluted and why stuff's more in the right places. But that's really like what I think Marvel's biggest issue has been since then is just the fact that they're trying to introduce too many characters at once.
Too many.
You know, back then it was one character per movie. Now with these TV shows, you're introducing new characters, and now we're wondering where they're at in the world.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Well, you're already
characters.
dealing with characters in these movies. Like Shang-Chi's movie came out in 2021. We have not heard about him since.
He's supposed to pop up in Doctor Strange or
Yeah,
something.
like
at
you know what I'm
least.
saying, and then like Doctor Strange happened, and that was that's 2 years ago now, or last May, and no side mention of American Chavez at all. No, and it's kind of just getting to a point now where, and now you want to do the multiverse stuff, and okay, you introduce He Who Remains with Loki, and they're like, oh, that was awesome, Jonathan Majors was great. Then the legal stuff happens, and now you're like, oh, well, is he even gonna be Kang anymore?
Yeah, and then they're talking about replacing him with a different with Doctor
And, which is annoying because like, okay, if you were gonna replace him, it would have been easy to do it anyways. You already have the multiverse at your advantage.
Yep.
I jump in for a second. You mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like,
Absolutely.
I'm the same way. Like they, you know, when you were watching all the movies in the 10 years leading up to Endgame, everything was connected.
Yes.
Like besides the TV show stuff, and it seemed like, okay, we get a thing, and this is that, and there wasn't like this huge gap. If you're gonna bring in a new whoever, you know, then I need to see that character interact with another character like right away.
That's what kills
I
it.
really liked Moon Knight a lot.
Yeah.
I loved the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I love that show because I thought that show was like just so.
That's
good.
another one. Sam Wilson.
And then but then all of a sudden it's like, well, now we haven't seen them.
Yeah, I haven't seen Captain America in 3 years.
Like, come on, bro.
And you know, like you said, Shang-Chi, like really good show. Like, man, that should have been like they should have got into a room and said, boom, we got a new event. Soon as they realized the wheels were coming out, they're like, we need to write an Avengers story right now. We need to because I think the multiverse was a bad idea to begin with. Coming out
And
with the multiverse right away, they needed to introduce another regular bad guy, and then whoever they wanted to fight,
And that's what kills me is like, okay, you had two. No, I don't want to say minor, but you had two minor villains in those first couple phases. They fought Loki first.
Yep.
Loki was the first big bad. Thanos was lurking in the background in post-credit scenes, but we weren't dealing with him in whole movies.
Yep.
Then you get to Ultron, who I still am salty about Ultron. I thought Ultron should have been a bigger villain, but regardless, whatever. Ultron comes on.
Take him.
He's a villain. Okay, now you got two minor villains that the Avengers have had to team up with and face their own issues with twice to get to that. And then we finally get the Thanos reveal. Oh, fine, I'll do it myself. If people can't do it, I'm going to do it.
Well, what pissed me off is that you talk about the higher ups, because I read a lot about this too, and Christian and I talked about it on our podcast a whole bunch, that like the pressure from Disney to push Disney Plus over the movies, because like they decided we're just gonna not worry about the movies,
stupid.
because and then when we do a movie, we're gonna not really like they thought Ant-Man was gonna do great.
Yeah,
Like,
in their heads they were like, oh, this is gonna kill.
Like they don't, and then they go and they do all the movies are doing this now too. Like all the shows are doing this now. Like they spend so much money on something you aren't getting back.
Did you see that? They said She-Hulk cost $225 million.
That show
I
should
know they
cost
didn't make that shit
$50
back.
million.
I know
That
they
show
make that
should
shit back.
cost $50 million. That's it.
They said they said some episodes are over $25 million a piece to make. They said that's more than any Game of Thrones
What
episode.
did they
in the last
spend
season
it on?
Oh,
The
Megan Thee
special
Stallion.
effects
Megan Thee
were
Stallion.
good.
That's what they spent
like,
on. They spent on Megan Thee
there's
Stallion.
no way. And somebody was saying they're like Disney Plus is still like relatively cheap for per month. Like I think it's like just hit double digits.
Yep.
You're not making profit back. There's
There's
not
no-
enough people
there's
in the
no
world watching
way.
Disney Plus to make back that $250 million that you spent. And the Secret Invasion was the same thing.
Yep.
You spent $225 million to make Secret Invasion.
I know that
These
shit didn't make
TV
that
shows
back.
should
Secret
not cost
Invasion
you.
was unwatchable.
Yes, wasn't even fun. Was not
I
a
didn't
good
even
show.
know. I didn't even know. Like I gotta say, we watched it. We got to like, I think we skipped. What were there 6 episodes?
Yeah.
We skipped 5 and just got to the recap, so we could because we knew nothing was gonna happen, and then
So
we watched
stupid.
6 and we're like, that was it.
Such a good basis, and they literally did it in the worst way possible.
I mean, like, then they do this thing where they take a great comic book like name
and they
or
put it on a
term,
bad product.
and then it's like
This
this is
shit.
Like this
Secret
is not.
Invasion
Listen,
at all.
Secret Invasion in the comics is huge. That really should have been
Yeah, it's nothing.
it's such a
This was
cool
nothing,
story.
right.
That should have been a movie.
Right.
Like Secret Invasion as a storyline should have been an Avengers movie, and they
Yep.
made it into a TV show with Nick Fury as the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man.
They're replacing the shows with the movie shit. Like back in the day, you know what I'm saying? We got Iron Man, and then you see Nick Fury at the end. We're like, okay, you know, they
Listen,
slowly
everything was
build.
connected. They slowly
And-
built it.
Felt like
Uh-huh,
it was
and
the
it-
universe was
You-
all
and then
connected.
And even then, they built Loki up. Like they was building Loki up low key.
That's what I'm
Like, you see
saying.
that?
Like, there was a post. One of the earlier Marvel movies had a post credit scene where they go and literally find Mjolnir in the desert. Like I think it was Iron Man 2. It was like right before we get to the first Thor movie. Like all that stuff was slowly connecting. I was
Yep.
like, no. Like, Shang-Chi, after the movie came out, should have been a major character as soon as they did. You got the 10 rings now. You're one of the most powerful characters in Marvel, period, now because of that. I was like, and then on top of that, your post-credit scene was about how something was some type of beacon was activated from wherever it came from. Have not heard nothing about
Nothing
that
since. Haven't
I
seen
was like,
my man
so like, and then what
since,
happens when he comes back? Like, and then I'm supposed to forget about that?
Like, I'm supposed to be hyped?
Like there's no way. Like, I said,
no,
you gave me a Black Widow movie 4 years after she died. No, 3 years after she died. Like, her character's dead. You're not going to bring her back.
Shit is
The only movie that I mean, I didn't hate all the movies.
No, they were fun to watch, but like in the
Shang-Chi was really good, and then I mean, I'm okay. You know, Eternals and all that. I don't hate them. They're better than most of the DC crap, but like really between Shang-Chi, the next one I liked was Guardians 3.
yeah.
Yep.
Like that's it. And then the TV shows are all hit or miss. Like
Yep.
Yeah, the TV shows are either like the TV shows for me are like they always start so good and they always end so bad. Those first couple episodes, you're hooked. You're like, damn, this
Star Wars
is awesome.
is the same problem. Like instead of just doing Obi-Wan as a movie, they did the same thing with Obi-Wan, tried to make it into a show, and it really could have just been a 4-episode show or a movie, and it would have done significantly better.
than how it did because it was popularity.
The higher
of it.
ups are ruining like their universe.
Yep.
Yeah, it was saying it sucks because, like I said, when you and it's hard to compare. I get that, but Marvel was just so cohesive leading up to Endgame, and now when you see how it is now, where you're trying to put the dots together yourself more than you are watching the movies and expecting it to get handed to you. You know, like I love theories and I love thinking about what's gonna happen next as much as the next person, but I want to at least have some type of direction to go.
That's
in.
what I'm saying.
And I don't have a direction to go in. Like even with like I loved Guardians 3, and that was James Gunn's last movie. Now obviously he's at DC. But what happens with the Guardians even now? Like I don't even know if I want another director to make a Guardians movie.
I don't even think they're gonna make one. I think Peter Quill's gonna be in some, but here's the thing, like you brought up the 2 minor villains and then we got Thanos. Who like I hope please bring us some minor villains. Because well, first of all, let's just say this: Kang is ass right now. Like I don't feel scared of Kang.
No.
Like 3 of his variants died already. But even if you make a movie in 2 years, an Avengers movie in 2 years, right? If you're telling me that the Avengers on Earth right now is supposed to beat King, you're lying to yourself.
Well, that's
you're
what I'm saying. And
lying.
like, it was and then like now all these leaks are coming out that apparently in Secret like so the Spider-Man are gonna be like the main leads of the big movies now for Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty. Tom Holland's gonna be the lead in one, Tobey Maguire and Wolverine are supposed to be the lead in like the other one or whatever. So now it's that kind of just feels like you're shoehorning in characters now.
Yeah, you're just throwing shit out there.
Because you just want that nostalgic thing to come back, and that's cool. We want to see them. That's awesome. But what is the storyline going to really be?
There's no story.
You know what I'm saying? Like how are you even going to lead up to them? Because like now, the movies that you already have announced, I don't even see how that leads up to it. So like now the next movie after the Marvels, which is supposed to be I guess Captain America again. Deadpool got pushed back. Deadpool was supposed to be, I thought, the big one that was going to connect everything with the TVA or however they're going to end up in our universe. I'm just so confused on how they want to do it now. Like, and I agree with you. Like the Avengers we have on Earth right now are not doing
ass.
Nothing.
They're not doing
You don't
shit.
have She-Hulk is not doing what the Hulk was doing. The Hulk has a son.
The Hulk not doing shit himself. Like, please don't get me started on Hulk.
I was like, Hulk's got a kid out there.
Like, don't get me started on Hulk.
Like it's funny. Like you can have a series like She-Hulk if everything else is like, like hitting.
Yeah.
But it didn't. Everything else wasn't great. And then, or people just didn't get into it. They didn't care. I think they just decided they could throw anything at us, and we'd
like
be happy
it.
with it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because they got so conceited about the content that they were throwing us with the movies that even if like we didn't care because we were all excited to get to the end. But like you said, nobody wants to talk about it anymore. Like there's nothing to talk about. Like,
Yeah, because there's just
such a gap.
There's just no direction with it, and like so that's what kind of kills it for me is like She-Hulk is a cool character in the concept of it, but you made her show basically a whole comedy the whole time, and I've never read her comics, so if she's like that in the comics, then all the power to them. But the only thing her show does is bring back Daredevil, which was
if it didn't bring back Daredevil, there's nothing redeeming about any.
Nothing memorable.
You brought back Daredevil. Abomination was useless because Abomination wasn't even really a character in it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he became bad again and fought Hulk or anything. And then at the very end, you're like, oh yeah, Hulk has a son that we never heard about at all.
Terrible
He just randomly
CGI
found
son.
about.
Terrible.
Like he
CGI
got a ponytail, but his hairline appeared.
Just don't get me started on Hulk, cause I'm glad he got a son. Hopefully his son get a little bit more angrier or something.
But what
like
kills me is like, okay, so they've already announced with like the leaks that in the Captain America movie, Red Hulk is the villain. Okay, so that means that we're gonna have a Hulk movie in Captain America, basically. But then why are you taking away from Captain America? Sam Wilson is supposed to be the next Captain America, but you're telling me he's gonna be with Hulks in his movie? That don't even make sense.
Red Hawk is gonna whoop his ass.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, that don't
take
even
away from him.
I was like, that don't even make sense. I was like, so you're telling me I gotta watch the Red Hulk, who is played by Harrison Ford, which is awesome, even though he's like 80. Who knows? And I was like, so that's cool. I was like, man, why are there Hulks in a Captain America movie?
Like, come on, bro.
I understand some stuff that happened. Like they want to get like X-Men and everything into it, but they couldn't because of contractual stuff with Sony. But it was funny because people were like goofing on like Sony and everybody like
Sony's
their
been
movies,
Sony's been more consistent now.
What's the best 2 superhero movies since Endgame?
Yeah, both Spider-Mans.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like the 2 Spider-Man,
like, not even
without a doubt, are
close.
the best superhero movies. They might be like top 5 all time in my
literally.
book. Like I mean, we could argue that shit, but like,
no, I don't even think that's an argument. Like, if we're talking about like the way it looks in the story, I literally watched Across the Spider-Verse for the first time since I saw it in theaters, like last week. It evoked the exact same emotions I felt.
Yo, I was hooked on that shit. I was
literally-
first watching it.
Son,
Like,
I was texting Jules towards the end of that shit. I was like, "There's no way I felt the exact same way watching it at my house that I did watching it in the theater. Same emotion.
literally
I was like,
hooked on that shit.
Just
Like, I've
means,
never
like,
watched it
the
before.
The second one is like, I'll be honest, like if that movie should win a whole bunch of awards, and not
should.
just talking animation awards, because
in general.
the production design to have each different spider variant or whatever, like have a different animation style. Like, did you see how long it took them to do the Anarchist English version, whatever? What's his name? When he's all pieced together with like snippets.
Oh,
of
I
paper.
I know who you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about Spider-Punk.
Spider-Punk. Like it took them like twice as long to do all the animation with him. Because it's such a complicated process.
Because you're literally, it looks
but
like
they
you're
were committed to that.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
the movie also didn't cost $14 billion. Like,
$14.
it probably cost less than She-Hulk when it was all said and done.
Yeah, and it's just like unbelievable to me. Like, so like that's like a well-made superhero movie. Like I said, for that fact, like, cause I literally told Jules that forever. I bought the movie when it first came out to buy at home. Did not watch it. I was so scared. I was like, if I watch it and I don't feel the way I did in the theater, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yep.
Like, I want to keep the same feeling I had. Watched it finally, and like I said, every single emotion I felt in that theater came rushing back to me, and like I was like excited again. I was like, I cannot wait for the sequel. Like, this is gonna be one of the best trilogies ever made.
That's what I'm saying. And at first I was mad that they delayed it, but it's like you can't rush.
I would rather them delay. I'll wait till 2026 if I got to. If it's gonna get a good product.
It sucks because it was a cliffhanger ending.
Yo,
but like,
it is,
I'm cool with it. Like
for
take
sure.
your time on it. But it's gonna be sad once that movie ends. Because by the time that trilogy ends, Spider-Man as
It's
a
not
character
connected to any other universes, so
yeah,
it's
exactly. They can
animation,
go on with it whatever
so
they
it'll come
want.
out 3 years later and it's fine and you don't care.
Exactly, because there's nothing happening in between that I gotta worry
like,
about.
It's like, well, how come they didn't address like where they got that problem with Marvel? And that always was my problem, that they were getting too big and they all got too big for their britches and they all think that they can throw shit out there. It's like, it reminds me of like the Toronto Maple Leafs. We can just throw the same crappy ass team every year and no one will
they're
care.
gonna eat it up.
They'll still buy the season tickets, and that's what they all thought we were gonna do. We're gonna buy the Funko Pops and we're gonna do all this stuff. And we're like, no, we want a product. And that's why, like, we're more excited. You guys like me. We're excited. We're excited for Boys, Invincible.
Yeah, like stuff where you at least I don't
like
get the product.
the Sony stuff.
Invincible literally came out already for critics and then got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Motherfuckers have watched
That's
every
crazy.
episode up until the last one. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes is so hard to accomplish. And the review I read literally said that it's impossible. It's hard for shows to top its first season like that. The way it's made, the story it tells, and the way they said this season 2 tops everything season 1 did.
Yep.
And season 1 is damn near perfect.
And I was gonna say that you brought up The Boys and Gen V. There's no like they're soups and superheroes or whatever. How the fuck is like, because Marvel got all the big fights and all that. How am I so interested in high school and college and these people who may have a fight scene in a superhero show? I'm more interested in that than fucking a Hawk.
The Boys don't even have fight scenes half the time.
Like,
The big fight between Patriot.
It was there was Soldier Boy,
Soldier Boy,
Homelander,
It's
and
like
Maeve.
it's in a house.
Yeah, literally. Like, I was like,
It's
it was like Butcher, Soldier Boy, and Homelander, and they were fighting in a mansion.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I love Black Panther, but that stupid fight at the end where they're
in the cave.
Have them fight on a beach.
Yeah,
just fight, like they can be anywhere, like not there, like that. Don't.
No, dude, it kills me. It's like the different set pieces, and all that, man. I was like, the Boys and Gen V, like Amazon right now is probably at the top of the superhero market. I mean, you got the Gen V is about to finish tonight. Invincible premieres tomorrow, and the Boys is coming as soon as the strike ends. So it's like right now, Amazon's probably at the top as far as product.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about real stuff, and like it kills me, and that's why I say going back to Marvel, it kills me that what they're trying to do now is just invoke nostalgia. Like you have clearly hit a wall. If you're trying to bring back the original Avengers, you are at a
you're cooked.
You're literally trying to. That's what you're like. They're like, oh, they haven't committed to the idea yet. But the fact you're even floating
thinking
the
of
idea
you're thinking of that
is letting me know that you're in a bad spot.
You're thinking of that, and you've been trying to build these new characters up for the last 2-3 years, and now you're saying that like it's over. But what I was gonna bring up is Miss Marvel had her own show, and she's in the Marvels movie next week, and it's literally the most disliked trailer in MCU history, literally. So like if she doesn't go out there and like put on a show, it's raps.
And it sucks for me too because like
She's really good.
I say that's what kills me is like I liked the Miss Marvel show and
But a lot of people were done. Like a lot of people
by the time it came
didn't
out,
even watch it because they're just done.
Yeah,
so they don't even know who she is and they don't care because like I'm out. I checked out.
Same
like,
with what's her name, Monica. I think her
Monica
name is.
Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica and Miss Marvel.
She was a really good character in WandaVision. That's what I'm saying. So it's like I know a lot of people already don't like Captain Marvel as a character, anyways, and that's why they and which is crazy because I Captain Marvel did $1 billion in the box office, by the way, which is crazy for a movie that's been as disliked as it has been. It still made $1 billion, and so for the fact that like I said that's the most disliked trailer in MCU history now, and we have good characters going into it, but now it's like how do they tie in?
Yep.
And that's really going to be another one where, like I said, we haven't had a cosmic movie, and sometime probably since. If we're talking about space, Captain Marvel, or Endgame, I guess if you want to count that. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't really count. So we're going to get this, but how does it tie into the future now? What post-credit scene are you going to show me at the end that shows me, okay, this is what we're getting next?
Like,
how is that going to tie into Captain America?
When are we going to see Monica and Ms. Marvel after this? Like, when are we going to see it? Like, Captain Marvel, you know, the actor, she's probably done with the character, or, you know, maybe even if she does stay, like, whoop-de-doo. But you looking at next year and the year after that, we're probably gonna see these. We're not gonna see these characters again. Like we're not. Like if Shang-Chi did that good, and we haven't seen him since, I can imagine what a Marvel's movie's gonna do. Like the Marvel's movie, I hope is not as bad as the the trailers being perceived as whatever. But it's just you got Miss Marvel and Monica. Hopefully they uplift the movie, but we haven't seen them in so long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the first time we haven't seen Captain Marvel since literally Endgame. Oh, I guess she was in the post-credit scene of the Miss Marvel show, and that was the last time we saw her. Monica, we haven't seen since WandaVision.
Exactly.
So and then on top of that, I was like, I'm sure they're gonna probably add in Nick Fury because Nick Fury, that's the real one up there, where he's not the Skrull version or whatever. I know he came back to Earth for Secret Invasion or whatever, and it's just like it's just weird to me how they're gonna even be able to tie it in and connect it because, like I said, if this is the last Marvel product until the next one is either supposed to be I think Echo the TV show or Captain America. Like I don't understand how they connect and where you make me think, okay, I'm gonna be happy with this.
Yep, and with Echo, right? You put Kingpin in there or whatever.
Well, yeah, but that sucks to me too. Like I don't mean to cut you off, but so Echo's supposed to get her own show, but you're literally already have marketed Daredevil and Kingpin to be in it.
That's what.
So you're already
she's
taking
gonna
away
be
from her
overshadowed.
character.
It's cooked. Like why would I
Nobody
care about Echo?
Nobody's
Like
care about Echo. They're literally gonna see Daredevil and Kingpin and be hype, and that's gonna be the end of it.
That's gonna be that's what I'm saying. Nobody,
she can't move right to the
nobody's
bag.
not gonna care about Echo, bro.
Well, did you see what? So the big thing that came out the other day was Mahershala Ali was about to walk away from the Blade role. He was done. He was like, he literally had to go to Kevin Feige or Marvel, whatever, and beg them to make a better script. So they went and got the Logan writer, which is awesome. Logan was a great superhero movie.
Yep.
Well written, very emotional. I have faith in the movie again now. But they're going for under $100 million budget, which should be doable. Blade is not a CGI character. I don't need Blade to be CGI. But what kills me with that is the original script that was being written had Blade as the fourth lead. They literally came out and said that it was supposed to be like a woman-centric film, cool or whatever, but how do you make a Blade movie with Blade being the fourth lead of the movie?
Come on, bro.
I need to see Mahershala Ali front and center. This is an Oscar-winning actor. And you're going to put him to the fourth lead? He had to beg you? He had to beg $1 billion company to rewrite the script?
That's just
like, come on, dude. I was like, you go out there and you get these actors, and then but it takes an actor finally speaking up to be like, yeah, listen, okay, we got to redo our product.
Like it's all a money grab, bro. Like everybody, you can get people to watch movies, whoop-de-doo. But if the shit ass, like we gonna give up. Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that's saving MCU right now is they have no competition. Like the best competition right now is the fucking
is the TV shows from Amazon. And that's what I'm saying. I was like,
they have no competition right now.
And that's the thing. I was like, and DC ain't gonna do anything until 2025. So like realistically, they have a whole another year to fix themselves.
Yep.
and put themselves back at the top of the food
Clearly,
chain.
like people were worried, like that the whole concept of of superhero movies were going to get like boring, whatever. But we still are into them.
No,
We just
it'll
want
never
good
be
ones.
boring. I say
we
it's
want
just the
good
product.
ones. Just
It's the quality.
If they now, but we're going to start losing interest if they're always bad.
Yeah.
So and then I'm just looked up the budget for the Marvels. The Marvels, the budget was like 270. That's not even talking marketing. 275 million. And then they did get a subsidy from UK for 55. So they spent 225 plus another 70 again. So they're up to that movie.
$300
That movie
million
needs to make at least $300 million. And I don't even know. That's too much. That
almost
is
positive
too
that
much
Endgame
for
and-
a secondary character.
Character.
That's those aren't major characters. That's not an Iron Man. That's not a Hulk. That's not an average. That's like not
That's
a
not like-
name of a.
Who was their villain?
Nobody knows who
I
the Marvels
saw the
are.
trailer. I saw the trailer. Did not recognize the villain.
Who was their villain?
That
Like
doesn't
you
help.
didn't even
Yeah,
build
that
nobody
doesn't-
up for them to fight.
Their selves. They're fighting. I don't know who knows.
Yeah, like they're fighting that their powers keep swapping.
And then it is they've and then I was pissed because what I really wanted is Dune. Give me Dune. Like I care
so-
more about Dune than all of this crap. And then they postponed it because they can't get they couldn't have the actors to promote the movie, and they know the movie.
What movie you talking? What are you talking about?
Dune 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, yeah, they did get pushed
Dune
back.
2
Yeah,
got
yeah,
pushed
yeah,
back
they did get
because
pushed back.
the
They did get
actors
pushed back.
can't do.
Yeah, they couldn't market it.
They can't
yeah,
market it. They
and-
can't film anything.
So it
They-
got pitched like March, I think. It was supposed
Yeah,
to
and
come
they
out
want,
this
and
month.
obviously the two stars are like
Yeah,
freaking huge.
huge.
and
Literally
that's
got
why
Zendaya
people
and
will go
Timothée
see
Chalamet.
that movie, even if I'll go see it
And that
because I
trailer
love
did look
Dune.
really good.
The rest of the world's going to go see it because of those
characters,
Yep.
right?
you know.
No, and see, like, and that's the thing too. Now, is with Marvel. So you said Dune, so I'm gonna use that to rhyme a little bit. So now on top of that, so Marvel, on top of already wanting to bring back the original cast, is scared of King the Conqueror now. They don't know if they want to latch their leash for the next big villain to King the Conqueror, because Ant-Man, of all reasons, not because Jonathan Majors got in legal trouble, even though I'm hoping I think he is innocent. We'll see what he gets to his trial. Not because he was arrested and charged, but because Ant-Man didn't do good in the box office.
But that's
reason
their
for
fault.
going away from it. So now they're going to basically say, Jonathan Majors, you're going to take the fall. You weren't good as the character. We're going to move on, and now they want to replace him with Doctor Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And awesome. Doctor Doom is a great comic book character, and honestly, I thought he was going to be the main villain anyways when they announced these movies because he is a big part of Secret Wars and a big part of all that. I thought he was going to be the main villain anyways before they announced Kang, but I don't want to see Jonathan Majors get shit on like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Jonathan Majors is one of my favorite actors. Ever since Lovecraft Country, I pushed majorly for him to get in anything that he could get into. And when he was cast as Kang, it was really like one of my favorite castings in a long time. I was happy to see him, and I don't think he's been bad. Mm-hmm. When he's acting as best he can with what he's given. He's not writing his script. He's not doing he's doing what they're telling him to do. Mm-hmm. But once again, how you said earlier, Disney has shot themselves in the foot. You go out there and you show me 3 Ant-Man or 3 Kang variants,
And
they all died.
And it's crazy because the one in Ant-Man, I was like, yo, he about to go crazy this movie. Like he had that aura around him until like the last hour of the movie. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
I know everybody's like, oh, he didn't die, he got sucked into that machine or whatever. I don't care about that though. The trailer literally made it seem Ant-Man was like, oh, I don't have to win, we just both have to lose. Mm-hmm. Ant-Man didn't lose. What? Ant-Man? All the theories are that Ant-Man got stuck in another dimension. I didn't see nothing about Ant-Man losing though, because last time I checked, he was with all the people he cared about.
That's what I'm saying. They all survived. They all got out of there.
But Kang was gone. He Who Remains got killed. Victor Timely literally got turned into spaghetti last.
That's why I'm like, bro, there's no way he died. Like this is the third. This the third variant.
And
like,
I get
there's
the
no
whole
way.
point of him being scary is that there's so many of him that there's always going to be a threat, but. Like I need to see him do something.
Yeah, who was the threat?
Yeah,
like,
so I need to. It's coming like this. We're about to be in 2024, and you got Kang, Dynasty, and Secret Wars planned for 2026. Mm-hmm. We are 2 years out from these movies, and we have not seen nothing from your main villain.
And you don't have no minor villains to kind of build up your hero.
No, at all.
You got to go straight to Kang.
Exactly. I was like, and how hard is it you can't even be a new Marvel fan nowadays because you got to watch 38 projects damn near.
That's what I'm saying.
Between movies and TV shows to even understand where you're at. So it's like, if you haven't been watching Marvel since at least like the first Avengers movie, maybe
you
like
don't know
Ultron, you don't know what the hell's going on.
You're watching so much different shit and none of it's connected.
And then you're gonna watch a movie like imagine if you don't have not everybody gets these streaming services. Imagine you don't got Disney Plus, you go to watch a movie and you got 4 different characters that you never heard of.
Like, come on,
it's just
bro.
kind of annoying and like. That's kind of where it sucks for me. Like I said, I don't want Jonathan Majors to get replaced, but it seems like that's the route they're going to go because they're scared about it now, where they don't know if they want to keep him because Ant-Man didn't make any money.
For us, like going to a Marvel movie was an event.
Yeah,
we would
always.
get like 10 people together, and I would go, and I swear to God, my friend and her family were always at the exact same show on opening night, and it'd be like 20 people. And like, if I ran into any of those people, none of us, Marvels, they're like, what? I didn't even know it was coming out.
No.
Like, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna. I'll probably see it eventually, or I'll just wait till it shows up on Amazon.
yeah,
I'll pay
exactly.
Amazon to watch it. But like, it just they blew it. They blew it, and they blew. Like, how do you blow it? How do you like? It's like, I don't know. Like, if it's like somehow the Kansas City like decided Mahomes isn't going to pass anymore. We're going to make him. We're going to make him a kicker. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the analogy is.
It's just
But
like
how do you take something that was so good and you just systematically like, and it's not the directors. It's just from up top. It was just Disney getting into a room with their shareholders and all those people. And like, how do we just squeeze as much money out of this like fan instead of really caring about? And I saw a thing with George Lucas talking about like movie making, and this is a relatively recent interview. He said movie companies used to be owned by people that loved the movies. Now they're owned by stockholders. And he goes, and now they don't care about making something that like people are just gonna love. They're never gonna make Lawrence Arabia ever
Right.
again. They're only going to make like something that they think they can get their. They got an 89% chance of getting their money
Their
back.
money, yeah.
And then they so they're not dreamers anymore, and that's their bottom. They're not artists. They're just they're speculators, and
kills me,
that's what they've done to like Star Wars, to Marvel, DC. Like they're ruining all these things, and it's
Like I say,
frustrating.
and it definitely isn't, like I said, and I agree with what you said earlier too. Like, it is not superhero fatigue, man. Like, at all. It is. People always come out for superhero movies.
Yep.
If a superhero movie is budgeted, if it is marketed well, if it's made well, superhero movies will attract anybody for as long as they're made. And like, and that's kind of what kills me. Where, like you said, like now we're just getting really bad ones. And so this guy came out the other day who was close. They didn't have a name. It's a source. He gave a quote to Variety, because this is what Variety was the one that leaked all this stuff about Marvel ramping. Said Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle.
And they are.
And he said,
It's
this is a
their
comment
fault.
from a top deal maker who has seen the final episode of Loki Season 2. So if that means that we're going to get to the Season 2 finale, and they're going to do something with Kang that leaves us either underwhelmed or even more question marks, then that's even worse, because Loki, I thought, from the way it was going, was going to tie everything up. And if
Because
it's
Loki
going to leave
himself isn't like, he's a part of MCU, but like he's not like, he's in his own little shit. Kang is the one that's supposed to come out of this like as a bigger character.
That's what I was expecting.
If Loki is gonna just bury Kang, Loki is pointless. Kang is pointless. At that point, like it don't matter how
Like I said,
good Loki
and that's what
was,
scares me, is like, because if he's saying that and he's seeing the final episode, and he's a top guy that spoke to Variety, then that leaves me kind of scared as far as like, are we wasting our time watching Loki?
There's no point. If Kang is not gonna come out of this a bigger and better villain, is cooked. There's no point in having.
And now the timelines even kind of line up too, because now the way so Loki Season 2 is going to end next week. Jonathan Majors goes to trial at the end of this month. So if he goes out there and is convicted, they can get rid of Kang.
Yep, they can get rid of him.
They whatever they did at the end of the season to be like, oh, Kang isn't. They could be like, okay, Kang, we'll see you later, and then we'll have to see Doctor Doom get introduced.
He's gonna get fucking rushed.
Doctor Doom's not gonna have one of the
best.
best villains of all time ever written is gonna get rushed into a movie, and we're gonna be like, oh, that's Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
okay.
like, oh, that's Doctor Doom, and then I'm gonna expect fucking Kate Bishop and
characters
two
that have
other
no
people-
business fighting
no
Doctor
business
Doom.
beating him to beat him. But let's get the OG cast to beat him. Like let's do something.
That's what they say. Like, that's what it's gonna be. Like I said, we're like that nostalgia angle, and they're gonna bring back these characters that shouldn't be brought back, and that's gonna be how they defeat this big bad. And I don't know, man. That's just such an annoying thing to me
The
in
nostalgia
Marvel.
shit is just it's shit like you can only do so much with it, man. Honestly, it's just
And as I say, like on top of all this too, like Marvel is already getting like. Marvel's been getting hit for years now with like how their VFX artists get killed for work. They're working 14-hour days, 16-hour days, just to meet deadlines for these, and then like, these movies don't work out anyway. So it's like not only are you killing these people, but you're killing these people to make bad movies.
that's what, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that some people said something about the Spider-Man movies that we talked about, where like the animation team were kind of struggling, but never as bad as what I heard about
The
MCU.
And MCU.
And it's not like the MCU is overworking these people to make good products. So that's even worse for me because if I'm a VFX artist and you're making me work 14 hours a day
for fucking
and for Ant-Man,
for She-Hulk,
like I'm done, man. Like I don't even want to be involved no more.
Like,
And that sucks for sure.
Yeah, man. They're in a
So
tough spot.
let me ask you guys a question then. So if there was one project right now that you would ask for from Marvel that you think could help the MCU, like one character, one project that could be introduced that would just not save it. It's hard to save Marvel right now, but that would get
Do you
people
mean
back
like
into it.
something that would tie everything together, or just something that would just be good for the universe?
Just something that would just be good for the universe. Because tying it together is gonna be hard. If Loki season 2 can't do it, I can't
That's
say
what
there's
I'm
a
saying,
movie right now that's gonna be able to save it.
I'm trying to think of like a villain that could like kind of add like to make it so that all the people come together and like we can see Shang-Chi and all them again.
It's hard,
King,
man.
like Echo, I guess. Like if you, I don't know.
No,
like,
Kingpin.
I want Kingpin to be.
I don't even think Kingpin's gonna get used until Daredevil, and I think he's gonna get used from Daredevil into Spider-Man. So
Right.
I think Kingpin will be the next Spider-Man villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Because he's a
instead of
street-level bad guy. He's not like a...
Yeah, I say he's not gonna come out. You don't need Shang-Chi to beat Kingpin. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know if there's a villain right now that would be like. Oh, you know what? That makes a great point. Another character that is missing. Where is White Vision? White Vision is out there.
flying around. He's just flying around, man.
Got all his memories back and disappeared. Like that's another great character that could have been used. Like it's just that sucks. But I don't know. Like right now, if we're talking about popularity, they need another Spider-Man movie. If we're talking about
that's
all
what I'm
honesty,
saying. Like Kingpin is like he built the fucking Sinister Six up. Or
yeah, like
something.
they need to build up something with Kingpin and just go from there. Spider-Man they need to move from Spider-Man. That was their last successful movie.
I'm calling Tom Holland up. Yo, Tom, we need you like 2024 right now.
Because I just can't think of like an Avengers movie right now that would make sense. That would bring in a big bad. That would bring all these characters together. Because who was like a minor character they could fight? Like I mean, if he fights a Kang variant, I guess you're gonna have to use another Kang variant.
At that rate, come on.
But like I was thinking,
like,
what you're gonna fight 3 Kang variants before we get to the main one? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I can't even think of somebody like minor they could fight to build up the King, and even then Kang's not built up good enough.
There's not even an established character like the Mandarin would have been cool. That's a pretty big threat, especially with the 10 rings. But he got beat by a monster.
That's what I'm saying. And it kind of threw Ultron out there, but at least we had character development within the Avengers.
Well, that at least helped move the Avengers forward. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that at least helped. I guess as much as I hated that Ultron was used for one movie, it still at least moved him forward.
Well, that's the problem they've always done is they always kill the bad guy off too quickly, and then you don't have them. Like
absolutely.
you've got like
villains are too important, especially in Marvel, where there's a lot of villains, but we're talking like existential threat villains.
Right.
There's not that many. So the fact that you kind of bring these guys in and then you get rid of them instantly, like killing them is, like defeating them is one thing, but killing them is crazy.
If they wanted to just make a good movie, like, and it was just to bring back something, I would love kind of like, I want a Captain America movie with the new Captain
Sam Wilson, yes,
Sam
absolutely.
Wilson, and I want
Bucky.
I want Bucky with him because I think those two are the best.
The dynamic.
Yeah, like, so if you started with a concept, to me, like I would start with the two of them, and I would have the Captain America movie, and then find a way that he builds a new team. So he goes and gets these characters that have been floating around, and he gets them all together.
Rounds them up.
Yeah, and he rounds them all up, and then they have to go do something. And even if the first movie they just got to fight some Earth bad guy, I'm fine with that.
Right.
But like, give them a chance to grow. That would be like
show
that would be
they're
the
a
2-movie arc that I would do.
Okay, that's
like,
actually not bad.
I would like that. Like to me, like okay, we've got Shang-Chi. Like I don't want to see Wong. I like Wong. He's funny. I don't need Wong.
You don't
again.
need
like he can make an appearance, but he's not on the. He's not in that. I wouldn't even like if you want to have Doctor Strange make an appearance in the second movie, great.
Yeah.
But I don't even need Doctor Strange because. But I like getting all these new. Get me Moon Knight and throw in the new and get me Echo in there or whatever. Like give me
Kate Bishop
in there. Get me some of those characters in there, and even if it's one of the other type of Marvel teams. Like
I would say it's just like a side team. It doesn't have to be the Avengers, but
like there's got to be something they could do. And then the other thing that they could do, which I think would be kind of fun, if you wanted to do it, is give me a like Chris Evans movie with his wife. What's
Peggy Carter,
Agent Carter? Give me a
That's
movie
been
that's
something
like a
people have wanted
James
forever.
Bondy behind the scenes thing, which doesn't screw up the continuity. Yeah. Something happens in like the late 50s. Where he's got to kind of come out of hiding with her because there's some big bad that shows up in the 50s or 60s where it would make sense, but he's got to like be careful about putting on the suit, but he's got the shield, and he can go and him and her could go off and have an adventure, which kind of has to be like secretive that nobody knows about. Kind of like what they did with Days of Future Past.
Right, yeah,
like
yeah,
that kind of an historical concept, like where they got to go fight some Nazi villains or,
that
you know, like
came back or
Russian
whatever, yeah.
communists or what, I don't know.
Maybe
Like,
I don't know, the Red Skull, since he got literally killed in one movie. That's another big villain. The Red Skull. The Red Skull's a big villain to everybody, not just Captain America. And he got killed off in the very first Captain America.
find a way to get like you could. It's sci-fi basically. Bring him back.
Right.
He escapes now that he doesn't have anything to watch.
Well, I say there's no Soul Stone anymore. Let him get off board
escape.
here. Like,
He comes back to cause chaos. I don't know. Like you got to be creative. There's a million comic books out there that you can find something good from.
And I like your idea with the building the team together, but I wouldn't even bring Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. Don't bring them because they're going to overshadow the whole show. They're going to overshadow the whole team.
Bring in your new Wolverine, though. Bring in your new Wolverine.
Yeah, you could bring in some characters that need building or haven't been built yet. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I think, was what killing everybody, too, is that how many solo movies were there before we got the first Avenger? Like 4, 3? Iron Man, Thor, Captain America?
Yep, and then I think...
Or no, Iron Man 2. There was like, so I think there was...
We had
Iron
Hulk
Man
in there,
2,
too.
And then Hulk. So we had 5 movies before we got our first team up.
Yep.
We have had like 10 movies since the last team up.
That's what I'm saying. And even then, they kind
And
of
some TV shows.
They threw Black Widow and Hawkeye in there here and there. Like, oh shoot, that's that's Hawkeye.
And that was cool the way they did that.
No, yeah, like and it's cool to bring those characters back, but like, I just don't understand, man. Like
now they all big leads and
we gotta build towards something, and like I said, there's just nothing being built towards right now.
What would you do?
I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. Like honestly, like because Captain America would be the next one. See, but like the Captain America movie being like that with the Hulks is what kills me because that's like the leak right now. So if they don't change that, try to think of who's available.
And I'm thinking back of some of those traditional Avengers comic books that I remember from.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like storylines,
like
Wolverine,
big storylines. Daredevil's in there.
I wouldn't even mind if they did like, okay, so you have like maybe kind of like a Midnight Suns kind of movie would be cool, I guess. If you're gonna have Blade, you're gonna have
that's cool.
Doctor Strange, you know, and then you're gonna bring in some of these other characters. Like I don't know if Ghost Rider's gonna be in the MCU anytime soon. Like a Midnight Suns movie would be cool. Like I think what we need is like maybe not an Avengers level movie, but a side team movie.
Right.
Yep.
Kind of just like show some characters that don't get the love that the Avengers get, but could still be a part of the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like a Midnight Suns movie would be cool, or maybe even like, damn man, because there's so many characters from the MCU that are missing.
It seemed like they were building something like that with like Agent, what's his face, and Bucky, and what's her face?
I forgot the girl that came in.
Yeah, like
during,
what's her name from
Black
Seinfeld? Like that.
Oh, so
that
like,
she was
they're
building.
making a Thunderbolts movie, which is like all the villains or
then
whatever.
do the
like,
Thunderbolts.
Parts of people and see like, and well, that movie's supposed to come out, but like then like they keep moving everything back. So like, when are we even getting that at this point?
They'll end up spending $400 million on that movie, and then they'll be mad that they can't understand why they lost $200 million.
Dollars and yeah, exactly. And that like I said, it's all so much, man. Like Marvel's in a weird spot, and if they don't get it figured out soon, it's just gonna get worse for them. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are expecting the Marvels to, I don't want to say flop, but it's going to underperform.
Yeah.
Even if it's good, it's not going to do well because
anything,
people just don't want to give them a shot
anymore.
Like,
yeah.
You know.
So then we're gonna have to wait till basically Captain America to come out, and that won't be till May if we're lucky. That's if the actor strike ends. So.
But when's Daredevil 3 supposed to come out?
Daredevil, I think
that's done filming, right?
Well, no, remember they did all that revamping stuff. Remember they filmed like the first 4 episodes, and Kevin Feige saw it, and he was like, "Yeah, no."
And what about Deadpool 3?
That's still not even half. It's only halfway made.
Oh, I thought that was done being filmed.
No, yeah, they said they're still like halfway through filming it because they're of the actor strike. So like they won't even do that right now. Like they keep talking about it, like it's made, but that's why it got pushed back behind Captain America. And it's just, I don't know, man. Marvel's in a weird spot, and if they don't get it together by like 2020, if they don't get it together next year. Ooh, it might get scary for them, man, because DC is coming. DC is going to have Superman in 2025.
Yep.
And that could easily, I mean, if DC makes, I mean, we're talking about a half-decent Superman movie. Superman is a popular character. If they make a half
Batman, I think it's coming out in 2025 too. DC can make a comeback.
Yeah, I will say like Robert Pattinson's the Batman. I think does come out in 2025.
Batman's a better. I love that Batman.
Yeah, that's my favorite Batman.
That's my favorite Batman.
That's my favorite Batman.
Batman. I love that. I like what they're doing with that. I I'm glad they skipped year one.
Mhm.
They went right to
Right to year two.
I think I read those comics, and I think that was a really good comparison. And they got a good writer, and they're not trying to build any fun thing
Well,
with
that's
it.
the, and that's what I like.
Just let
And I
him
love that
cook.
James Gunn, when he took over, he said that's an Elseworld story.
Yeah,
so
like
they're-
right,
that's not getting
accept
involved.
that. Just
yeah.
to let them be in another place.
Yeah,
and
like that has nothing to do with my DCU. He's like, that is going to be
that's
Matt
probably
Reeves' world.
since Endgame, and the Spider-Man. The 2 Spider-Man animated movies. The only movie I've really rewatched a whole bunch of times is the Batman.
I've
love
rewatched
that
it. I've
movie so
rewatched
much.
it twice,
I
but
love that movie.
that movie in the theaters was outstanding.
Was
Like, when
beautiful.
I saw
It's
that shit in the
kind-
theaters, like I was like, woo.
It's kind of a hard rewatch, like with it being 3 hours. It's
Yeah.
kind of a darker movie, but I loved it the first time.
Yeah, when I first watched it, I was like,
loved
damn, I was like, Robert Pattinson.
it's-
And the thing is, too, is like when Robert Pattinson got cast, I know mad people hated it. I was such a fan. I love Robert Pattinson. I think people were
Well,
like,
I had
oh,
watched him in a bunch of independent movies.
Well, that's exactly
and
how it
I
was.
knew that he was really more than what he was from Twilight.
and that's exactly what I told people. I was like, listen, I was like, if you watch literally any other film he's done besides Twilight, you would understand he was a great
I mean, I
cast.
watched that Lighthouse movie, and that was crazy.
Yeah,
That
he
a
was
crazy
like-
movie,
like a
but he was like,
psychopath.
but you could see him in some of these other things he's done, and because he's also in.
He was like Sunset. No.
Oh, he was in a Nolan movie. Which Nolan movie?
Oh,
was
Tenet. He was in Tenet,
He's
yeah.
in Tenet, and in Tenet, you're like, oh, he's gonna be a good Batman.
Yeah, like-
you could just tell like he had that demeanor, and that's
And,
whatever that. You
and he was a
needed
younger
in
and he was a younger Batman in his movie, so like he don't really know how to balance Bruce Wayne and
Yeah,
Batman.
but
I
that-
like that aspect. Like we don't get 45 minutes of Bruce Wayne.
No,
like,
they was
come
so
on,
mad. They're
bro.
like, yo, that is not billionaire Bruce Wayne. Like, he don't
Like,
get no
yo.
girls. Like, okay, relax.
Like,
Like,
we don't care. Like,
this
he
is,
young.
year
He
two,
a
like-
young. He a
like,
young
I'm here
Batman.
I'm here for
like,
the Batman.
I
not
like
the
the
Bruce
Great
Wayne.
Detective Batman. That's,
Yeah.
that's the Batman I grew up on.
And that's the
like-
kind of Batman he was too. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
right.
god, like the technology with the contacts and shit, where he could
like,
literally scan the
that was
environment.
that was
like,
the Batman that I watched as a kid, and the comics that I read. He was always the great detective, the detective comics or whatever they were called
Yeah.
back then. And those are the ones I remember. So I liked the fact of that it was really reminiscent of that. And I like the fact that they're not trying to build into it. Is that going to be Robin? Like I
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
They didn't do any of that crap these movies do. Where except the fact that we get like the Joker and,
Yeah,
and the
but-
Riddler
but
in the
even-
jail together, which is really cool. That
right.
Arkham, like I thought everything that they did that built it up.
I will say, like, that's like the one thing I hope they don't do with that Batman movie is. I get the Joker such a big villain for Batman. I want to see more of his rogues gallery. He has such a big rogues gallery, and some of his villains are so iconic. I would love, like, the Riddler was a good start.
But they
You know,
didn't
especially-
murder him. They
Exactly.
just put
They
him in
just put him in-
Arkham.
they put him in
'Cause
Arkham,
then he can
exactly.
escape, like all the comics always did. Like you let
He
him
just always
let
get
him
out.
come back.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't
I
have
would
to
love
kill
for them,
all
like,
the time.
like I would love to see him fight, like, I don't know, Clayface. He could fight Two-Face. He could fight he could fight Poison Ivy even. Like, you know what I'm saying? He could fight, Mr. Freeze is who I want.
Mr. Freeze was a good.
If
one.
Mr. Freeze is who I want. Like, if Batman 2 had to pick a villain and I had to pick one, I want Mr. Freeze. Especially
Because
because
they can't do Bane for a while. They
no,
gotta,
yeah,
they got to do their own.
And I don't
thing.
and like if you're gonna do Joker, save him for like the end of it. Like,
I
you
mean,
know
we
what
got
I'm
the
saying?
Penguin in a different way, and I like this incarnation of the Penguin.
And you know it's weird. So and that's funny because I was gonna bring this up. The Penguin actually, the show just got delayed to the end of fall 2024 because studios are refusing to pay the actors fairly, which goes into the strike. So the Penguin was supposed to come out, I want to say, the beginning of next year, and is now being pushed back to fall of next year. But like I said, I think Mr. Freeze would be a perfect Batman 2 villain. The city is underwater. Mr. Freeze could easily come in
And just fuck
freeze
shit
up
up.
the water and
Yep.
take shit over. Like, that's like the perfect setup for Mr. Freeze. Even like, what is it? The big alley was it? Is it the Killer Croc?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Killer Croc would be cool,
Yeah,
I guess. Like, I just, but that's also another thing too. Is like, I don't want Batman to stay super grounded either. Like, Batman has some pretty mystical ass villains. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to see Killer Croc as like a serial killer. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he don't
Like make him
gotta be-
make him a killer crocodile. I don't need to see him as like a serial killer. Clayface could be a big clay monster. He doesn't need to be. I know like original variations of Clayface was like he was like an actual human. You could have him as like something else. You know what I'm saying?
There's so many variations of it.
Exactly. So
And
there's
I'm
a lot
hoping
they
with the
could do.
Superman movie they don't just do Lex Luthor again. Like I want like Brainiac. I want like.
Yeah, I want them to
some
build towards
different-
something like.
I'm like, do I need to see friggin' General Zod again?
No,
like General
right.
Zod is not a major bad guy in the Superman comics, but now in the movies it's like, oh, we got to have General Zod and Lex Luthor.
That's
like,
really what it is.
Can
is
we
they say-
have just Brainiac and a couple of the other ones?
I think like Lex
Bizarro or-
Luthor needs to be somebody that stays in the background for a while.
Unless they
like-
do President Luthor, which I always like. I like
Right.
the President Luthor arc. If they do that in the movie, I'm okay with that. You know, like,
Yeah, like the Lex Luthor's episode where I feel like if they let that linger in the background, that'd be cool. That's like kind of like a Thanos level villain for him at least. You know what I'm saying? Like Lex Luthor, you're always gonna fight him. That's your main bad guy, quote unquote. But
you don't have to start with it.
exactly. You don't have to have him in the very first movie and be like, oh no, here he is.
Oh, and he killed him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
much more optimism for the DCU than MCU.
Well, just because they're fully restarting, there's literally nothing tying that like the only two characters coming back are like the people from Peacemaker and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Those like the only ones they're keeping.
Have you watched? I mean, my wife made me do a rewatch of the show that I didn't even know existed called How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I had never seen it. I never knew what it was. She's like, I'm going to watch this show. You want to watch it? So we watched it. And then you realize, first of all, she's Amanda Waller that whole freaking show. But also, she's just a friggin' tremendous actress.
Oh,
so
she's
I
a
love
great
the fact
actor.
they didn't get rid of her because she's great in the Suicide movies as well as Peacemaker. And I love that we're going to get maybe one more season of Peacemaker because I just loved that show. I thought it was silly, but it was fun. And I don't want everything to be like dark and serious all the time. I need like a fun.
You can have stuff that you can still blend stuff in like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be all dark and serious for the
just
DC.
let it be in an existing universe that's just dying on its own. The branch is dying, and that's fine. You know.
Yeah, and Viola Davis. It's funny because I have a funny story about How to Get Away with Murder. Because Jules used to try to put me on this show for years, bro, and I was never going for it. I was like, not really my thing. COVID happened. I was like, man, I need something to watch. She was like, bro, watch How to Get Away with Murder. I watched that whole show in like 2 weeks.
It was like my wife.
It was like literally one of the best shows I ever watched.
How many
bro.
seasons is it?
I think 6.
6.
It's really good. Everybody in that show
Like,
was
bro,
good.
you just get hooked.
wanted
All the
them.
actors are really good. Like the story, like the twist that they throw at you, like the twists don't feel convoluted. Like everything just works about the show. Like Viola Davis carries it. Like she's clearly the best actor on the show. But I could not believe how good it was. I was like, man, I remember like Jules used to hype it up something crazy though, where I was like, nah, I can't be that good, bro. I'm not hearing that.
That's like a guilty pleasure show.
Yeah, no,
it really was
is
like
that
a guilty
good.
pleasure show because like everybody in that show is terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no redeeming qualities about any of those characters. They're all shit.
And anybody that has any like integrity, they just destroy them. Like they just burn them to the ground, and they like. You know, like the boyfriend, like the husband, like they just like they turn that guy into like ass by this. Like, they ruin his life. Like by the time
is crazy, man.
Because anybody with integrity, it ends up getting destroyed.
But yeah, I'm definitely hyped for DC going forward. Like I said, I hope the MCU gets it put together, man. Like that's something. We got to see how these next few weeks play out. I want to see after Loki how I feel and see if that Loki ending is really as bad as this guy says. I'm not gonna let one person, obviously, define it. But if that's what he's saying. You gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Especially after what happened last
exactly.
episode,
So it's like, you know, if they don't have a good ending for it, then it kind of kills it.
But you know,
but we'll see.
We'll see, man. Let's talk about some actual good superhero shows. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think we can talk more about The Boys and Gen V a lot more next week.
Yeah.
But Gen V predictions for the finale, Dame. What do you got?
I don't even got a prediction, bro. I need to see Homelander on my TV screen.
You Homelander?
Nah, predictions. It's gonna be crazy, man. I think everything's gonna hit the fan this episode. I don't want to get too much in the last episode because I do want to just kind of recap everything next week. But this last episode, everything that I thought was gonna happen pretty much did. Victoria Newman being there, nothing was ever gonna end well. I was pretty shocked to find out that her powers were the same as Marie's. I guess it makes sense. We did see Marie pop that dude's dick. She pops heads. It makes sense. But that was a pretty cool scene to see where she's like, oh, I actually have the same powers. Like, you know, so shows you Marie could do a lot more than just what she is doing. I do like that, you know, Kate redemption arc. I thought she was going to be bad again. I was like, no way that Shetty got her.
Yeah,
but I mean, she's still not good. Because Kate was definitely on some shit at the end of the episode. Like, she's definitely probably going to be a villain still. But I did like the redemption that she at least didn't turn on our main cast. Predictions, I think they're going to have to kill Kate. Not even going to lie to you.
Yeah, she's too unpredictable.
I think she's too unpredictable and she's too powerful. I think it's going to be a thing. I think Polarity is going to kill her. But Polarity is weak. Man, wow. For a character I thought was going to be, like, way better than what he is. Polarity puts in no work. Couldn't even outpower his dad who was in his sleep. He's got a lot of work to go. I don't even know who I think is going to be in the 7 anymore. I do think Homelander is going to show up. Like I'm 98% sure that Homelander is going to show up.
Do you think it's going to be Homelander, or do you think it's going to be Billy or somebody from The Boys, them proper?
I think Homelander.
I think it's going to be somebody from The Boys to try to like recruit some people to like beat the 7. But I seen a leak that Sam and Emma was like with The Boys cast, so like I could see Sam being the big bad.
I could see that too. When you saw how he was acting, when he was with Rufus, and they were at the protest and all that, and he was mad, like he didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So I can see Sam end up kind of like where they kind of just convince Sam like, hey, listen, bro, like you're a superhero. You got powers. These humans don't got nothing on you.
Yep.
And I
because like Grace Mallory was in the episode.
That's what I was about to say.
And who did she call? I know you don't want to break down the show from last week, but that was a big discussion. Like Zach and I were having, like, who do you think she was calling? Like, who's she calling? Like,
I would have thought it was Butcher, but it couldn't have been Butcher. That's the way the conversation went. She does obviously bring up Butcher. She doesn't say his name, but she clearly references him.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know who she called. It's gonna be interesting to see. Because like I said, I do think this finale is going to be like huge.
Yeah,
like, I think like a lot of
stuff's
stuff's
I think it's got to set up like it's going to be like a holy crap moment, and then it's going to go black.
Yeah,
and we're going to be like, damn you! But I don't care because I love what they're doing, and I know The Boys is coming out really soon.
Anyways.
So I'm like, and it's kind of like going back to Marvel. Like, I can deal with
cliffhangers. And,
if I know that I don't got to wait 27 years if I know what happens. Like
exactly.
It's not like when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, and like Empire Strike comes out, and I got to wait 3 years to Return of the Jedi. Like,
right.
I mean, that's literally what we're like. What? This movie's over?
Yeah, you got to wait 3 years to find out what's going to happen.
Literally 3 years.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You want to talk about sucking? Like that sucked. Like they don't need to. They don't have. I'm okay with the going to black. Like a cliffhanger for a TV show or even something like this because I know Gen V's rolling right into The Boys, so I don't have to skip.
And that's what I love
is The Boys to get back to the next season of Gen because I know it's moving directly into the next.
And that's what I love, like to say, like where I feel like they're doing such a good job with this universe. Is like if you're going to connect your universes, this is how you do it.
Yep.
Everything has to connect, and that's exactly what they're doing. We've got plenty of mentions of The Boys in the 7, whether it be in Easter eggs or in just actual mentionings. You got rollover characters, and they already are confirmed that this is going to hand off right to The Boys season 4. So whatever happens at the end of this finale is going to basically pick up right where the beginning of The Boys season 4 picks up.
I would say my predictions. Now that they said it's a season 2, I expect that this Gen V cast kind of goes off to their own thing, kind of like what The Boys are doing.
Yeah.
Again, I can see Sam being the villain, but the thing with The Boys is about perception. Like they're like Homelander, all that. Like they perceive to be these good people.
Yeah, the 7.
Really
Yeah,
not.
it's about how they look.
I don't see. There's no way in hell Sam can be fake. That's why I think he's gonna turn, and Homelander's gonna push him over that.
You can't hone him into being something like where people are like looking at you like you're a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like because I feel like him and Homelander's not gonna be a good mix. Like even if he
that's
does
why I feel like
there.
Homelander could show up, man. Because like Homelander loves the optics. Homelander's on trial right now. Like I can see Homelander showing up and fighting. I swear to God, I can see Homelander showing up and fighting Sam, bro. Like I can see it because that's gonna be like their nuclear bomb.
Yep.
Like okay, Sam is gonna either beat up some of our heroes, not kill anybody. I don't think he's gonna kill anybody, but he's gonna be uncontrollable. I think we're gonna see more of what Sam's abilities are. And they're going to send in their nuclear bomb, and Homelander is their nuclear bomb.
Yep.
You're going to send in your most powerful hero.
And then they're going to boot up Soldier Boy too. They're like, fuck
you got the virus though too. Like,
yeah,
so,
virus.
Well, but Victoria Newman took it, so like we don't even know what she's going to do. I think that's going to play really into The Boys season 4 a lot, and see like she might have to use that as like leverage against the Vought, even. And
there's so many cool things they can do with that virus. Like we talked about it, like is anybody immune to it?
Right.
Can what's her face take it out because she can use the blood? Like will Butcher get it?
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. I think
because Butcher and Huey Butcher's worse off than Huey, but Butcher's like dying. Basically,
yeah. What if that virus like cures him? Like
because he's dying of the Gen V shit right now.
That's a really good theory.
Like what if it takes
that's so smart.
That takes it out of him. I would have thought about something like that.
Like it takes it out of him, so like he goes on. Because I'm like I ain't gonna lie.
You're not gonna kill Butcher, yeah.
I can't kill Butcher.
Yeah, you can't. He's too big. He's too big. He's too important. So you're not gonna kill Butcher.
Huey can die. Like they can kill off Huey. They can kill off Mother's Milk, but they can't kill off.
You can't kill off. He's literally the main person of The Boys.
Huey, in my opinion, was like the main character in season 1, but that shit like pivoted.
Yeah, it pivoted pretty heavily.
I think he dies in the comics though. Huey dies in the comics.
I'm pretty sure he does.
That's my predictions. Next week we could definitely talk about a lot more.
Yeah, I think next week we'll probably do, like go in depth of just like the whole series in general, since we'll have all the finales and all that wrapped up, so we can really go into that next week.
Yep.
But no, I'm really excited for the finale. That's probably like. I hope Invincible drops to the same time. To be honest, I'm watching them back to back.
Here, take another one. Take this too while you at it. You know what I mean? Your Friday morning is excellent.
I swear, son. So I do think that tonight is going to shock a lot of people though, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with these characters, man. Like I hope Kate don't go crazy. She probably dead. And I do think that the Woods is going to get exposed because Ashley at the very beginning of the Gen V season was talking about how if the Woods gets exposed, we're all screwed. They're not going to let the Woods not get exposed.
And
That's going to be a
Cardoso
big thing.
and they're both dead. Like,
That's what I'm saying. So I think the Woods will get exposed and what they were doing down there, and I think that's just going to be another thing Vaught has to deal with on top of everything else.
So, yeah, can't wait till next week, man. Well, I can't wait tonight to watch it, but can't wait to talk about it next week. But what we're going to close on is Spider-Man. Now, we talked about it last week, but I was like 98% done with the game. You know, Dame finished the whole game. I couldn't really speak on it.
We had two people here that didn't finish it, so we couldn't spoil it.
I was going hard to finish it. You know, finally finished it.
Mom finished it at like 4:38 in the morning.
Like, I had to. I was going hard, bro. I ain't going to lie. So, first of all, again, my opinions did change on the game.
Yeah, I knew you'd come to the dark side.
I wouldn't lie, man. I was harsh on Miles, man. I did a 180 on him. His character
Nah,
arc
bro, I'm
at the
telling you.
end. First of all, hold on. Let me just say this. Spoilers, because I've been posting clips about the game and posting stuff, bro. Listen,
I don't know how most people get mad.
spoilers.
Like it's not like you did anything wrong. Like if you see a game on the screen, just leave.
Like, just
You
leave.
ain't play it. Like
Just leave. I posted a TikTok about our Loki reaction today. Like, the episode come out tonight. They're gonna say, "Oh, you just spoiled the whole thing." I'm like, bro, I gave you a whole week and put spoiler in the thing, and you literally you missed it.
Like, that's your fault,
So
bro.
let me just say spoilers for the game. All right. Miles' arc, I did 180 on. I loved Miles' arc, especially at the end of the game with Martin Lee and stuff. Martin Lee, I never disliked Martin Lee as a character. Like, I never was like, I want to kill him. But he definitely redeemed himself at the end. The post-credit scenes, though, that's what got me hyped. Because I already had a feeling like, I'm like, okay, Norman Osborn is too important in this game, in both games. He has to be in the third game, as the big bad. But then they bring up, I think, what's her name? Cindy?
Yep. Which
As
is Silk.
Yep, and the thing is with her is, like, she's so, like, of an unknown Spider-Man character. They could do anything.
She's still relatively new, and I think that's what's cool with me is that, like, okay, so you already bring in two Spider-Man, so now a third Spider-Man, and they could have easily copped down and been like, oh, here's Gwen Stacy.
They could
have did something easily and been like, oh, but they brought out a character that's still relatively new, and I love that.
Yep.
I think that was really important. That was like a great post-credit scene because that's something they don't even hint at during the game. You know, obviously the mom's dating somebody that's whatever, but you don't get no hint.
It's like you forget about that. Like,
yeah,
when
like it's just a hint. Yeah, because like
it
happens. That's like literally one of the first missions of the game. Say, I want you to meet my new boyfriend, and then like he has to leave and be Spider-Man, so he doesn't do it. I love that post-credit scene. I think that's really cool because that could even like I don't think they'll save that for the last game. It can be DLC or nothing. But could you imagine playing as 3 Spider-Man? Like that'd be, that's dope. Like I mean, that's and the creator of the Spider-Man games already said that. Okay, Spider-Man 1 was like our Iron Man. Spider-Man 2 was like our like kind of like Civil War, kind of like that extra build up. He's like the third one has to be our end game.
Yep.
So you guys think you're gonna make a trilogy? That third one's gonna be the biggest one you make. So you have 3 Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like the story could be crazy. And to me, like that was a great post-credit scene. But the post-credit scene with Dr. Octopus.
Yep.
Because a lot of people are getting the thing that it's a Superior Spider-Man one where Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's mind. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
But I do think it's gonna be something where like the more way I took it is that Norman is a lot more evil now than he would have been earlier on. I don't think he was ever a good character, but if he's willing to work with somebody he hates that almost killed him to get at Spider-Man, you are clearly going down a path that is gonna lead to bad things. And obviously, he gets he calls it the G formula or whatever.
Yeah,
obviously Green Goblin.
Yep.
Which is really cool call out. And I don't know if what they're gonna do with that. I mean, there's some really interesting Spider-Man comics with Green Goblin. Obviously the Gwen Stacy one. You could obviously fill that in with any woman character.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and Green Goblin is like Spider-Man's arch nemesis in my eyes. So that's the one where they could do a lot with that. And so, did you do 100% the game? Did you do all the side missions?
Right now I'm at like 82%.
So, what side missions have you completed? Any of them?
I completed mostly of Miles ones, and I'm starting the one where they showed Carnage.
Okay, so you know about Carnage, yeah. So
yeah,
that was another really good one. At the very end, you see him get the symbiote. It is clearly red, and he doesn't say it, but he says there will be carnage, basically, which is kind of corny. So, and it's really cool because at the very end, like you're talking to Yuri, and she talks about how he had other aliases, and she mentions Cletus Cassidy, which is the guy that takes over the Carnage symbiote in the comics, which is really cool. Did you do the one with the birds?
The birds.
Or you got to fight when you got to chase down those mechanical birds?
Oh yeah.
Did you do that one? That was another really good one. I love the Chameleon. I think that's a great villain. Yep. I think it'll be DLC. I think Carnage is gonna be DLC as well. I don't think they're gonna do another symbiote.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do that DLC. But here's the thing with the Sydney thing for Spider-Man 3, like with Peter taking a break. Do you think?
I think that it's gonna be Miles is gonna find out that Cindy was bitten by a spider. And I think that he's gonna take her under his wing. And I think that something's gonna happen to Miles that's gonna force Spider-Man out of retirement.
Yep, and then all three of them team up
to fight whoever they got to fight. I've always that was like immediately what I kind of thought as soon as they kind of showed that, because Spider-Man wants to focus on his life and MJ and all that. That was the whole point of the second game, about how he can't balance it. So now that he is, now that Miles, he knows Miles can handle himself, he doesn't need to babysit Miles or help him anymore.
Yep.
He's gonna take that step back, and that's what I like. And I think that's what's gonna happen. Where I think Miles gonna be happy to have another Spider-Man. I think that he knows he can handle being by himself, but getting another Spider-Man to help him,
and one that's so close to his family.
Like, exactly. So he would have no problem taking her under his wing.
Yep. So
I think that's gonna be. I think that's exactly how it'll go out, and I think that's a good idea.
Definitely a good idea. Definitely.
But yeah, I think I was really the side missions, like I said, really did a good thing for me. Like I said, I love the chameleon reveal. Seeing all the stuff in there, the different masks and all that, obviously they connect him to Kraven as Kraven's brother. I could see him blaming the Spider-Man for Kraven's death. Because Venom, obviously Venom killed Kraven. That's another really good DLC. The first Spider-Man got 3 DLCs, so I could see us getting 3 in this one. I don't know what the third one would be.
Yep.
But I really, really liked the side missions. Did you do the Howard side mission? Did you do the Grandpa one?
Yep.
All really emotional ones too, to see that. How the Howard one, the Howard one had me done. I want to turn the game off. I was sick. Like, if you played the first one, like Howard was like a big part of the first. You had to chase down his pigeons. Then in this one, you lead his pigeons to the thing, and he passes away. It was like real sad. It's the same voice actor as Lee from the Walking Dead games. So it's like double whammy if you played those.
Yeah,
so man, the grandpa one was super cool too, man. Like, the grandpa goes to where he proposed to his wife, and it's just really cool to see like the Spider-Man connect with street level characters that. These are everyday people. These are not like superheroes or anybody important. These are just everyday humans, and they like trust Spider-Man enough to tell you like their life story damn near. Like the grandpa talks about how he's scared to die. Like, nothing prepares you for that. He's getting old. Like you think you could prepare yourself to die, you can't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that was just really cool. I love the Spider-Man game, man. I'm going through my second playthrough right now, like I said, on the hardest difficulty. And I just love it. I got the platinum the other day. It's a great game, man. I'm excited for the DLC down the line. It's a beautiful game.
It is a slight worse story than the first game, though.
I agree. I said that last week when we talked about it. I think the first story is better. That ending is just rushed.
Very rushed.
As soon as Spider-Man takes that symbiote off and he brings it to what's it called, and Harry's just there.
Yep.
It's a wrap, man.
It's a wrap.
Like, it's cool playing, and like, I'm not gonna lie, playing as Venom was dope. Like, that is a fucking fun ass game, like part of the game. Like, I kind of wish you could have did more with Venom.
Yep.
But getting to play as him regardless and doing a boss fight was
really about
cool.
to whoop Kraven ass. I'm over struggling with
easy as hell, bro.
We're struggling with Spider-Man. He going invisible and shit. Go invisible now.
Yeah,
I'm smacking you from across the shit.
I think what let me down with the whole Venom storyline though was the fact that I thought it would be a little bit longer, and I thought Venom would kind of just be out and about. Like, I thought I'd be out there swinging around doing missions and get a Venom jump scare type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like maybe I'd actually fight him out in the city. When you fight Venom, it feels very enclosed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're basically just in arenas. I think that kind of just let me down a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it was still really cool. Obviously, the very end where, the thing gets destroyed and, like, Harry's, basically gets back to being sick because he doesn't have the symbiote anymore. It looks like they completely destroyed the Venom symbiote. So it didn't seem like it was there anymore. They didn't trap it. It looked like it got completely destroyed.
Yep.
So it was cool. Getting the anti-Venom suit was cool because of Martin Lee, going inside Spider-Man's head. I said I loved the Miles storyline in this game. I thought Miles' storyline was fantastic, especially once you fight Martin Lee and you really deep dive into Miles' head and see like why he feels the way he feels.
Yeah.
And all that. And Martin Lee's kind of like redemption arc is cool too. He loses his powers. But you show that he is a good person. So he literally sacrificed his powers to save Spider-Man.
Yep.
It's a really, really, really good story.
And even Miles told him, like, I could never forgive you, but, for the greater good,
like, you're cool with me. Right.
Yeah, so that, I love the game. Again, story was kind of a downgrade from the first game, but, the Venom part really, another thing, I just don't think Harry's, like, I get it, Harry was trying to survive, like, he needed the Venom, but they try to kind of, like, make this turn between Peter and him. I just don't feel like that was rushed as well. Like, I feel like Harry, like if they would have built that more, like built that hatred with Harry towards Peter a little bit more.
Like, that's the thing that kind of like kills me. Was like it's like Harry's like literally Peter's best friend, and then like the Venom symbiote automatically just makes him hate him.
Yeah,
I get it increases like a thing, but Harry Harry's hatred for Peter literally just came because he had the suit.
Mm-hmm.
But like there was no other reason to hate him.
No
You got
other
the
reason.
suit back. You should have just dropped that shit.
Like you should have been good after that. I don't know, man. But
yeah, I do agree with you on that part. That it was kind of weird that he was moving like that.
mm-hmm. And then he overheard the Norman and Peter conversation. Like, what are you mad at?
Yeah, right. Like you're mad that your dad cares about one of your friends, bro.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
you know, relax, man.
I don't know. Love the game though. Love the game though, man.
Yeah, there's definitely got, like I said, definitely a lot of high points. Like the boss fights are insane. Like the Craven boss fight with the symbiote suit, Miles boss fight against Peter, crazy parts of the game, really memorable.
Yep, definitely.
And in the MJ mission, shout out MJ. She don't get enough talk. The missions were fun as hell. I don't care.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
The missions were fun as hell. I don't care.
Gonna lie.
She was out there with the gap.
I don't call her MJ. That's Black Widow.
No,
That's clearly
bro.
Black Widow. Like
way more fun than I expected it to be. Like the missions of the first game were like so lackluster because it was really just stealth. But them second games, bro, they had her ready for war.
I said that. I'm like, yo. First game, she was like, it was fucking annoying. Second game, she as a character, everything redeemed herself. But it's no like when she first got out that truck, I'm like, okay, it's a cutscene, whatever. They told me run to the villain and stuff. I'm like, what
you mean?
I'm like, yo, hold on, with MJ. I'm like, hold on, like I paused the game. I'm like, wait a minute, with MJ, I run up to a hunter that already got the gun pointed at me and stun him.
Like,
I'm
like,
yo,
man,
this can't be MJ. This is clearly Black Widow.
Like,
like
she had some crazy training. Like I don't know who did this to her.
Like, come on, bro. They're gonna say, oh, the training was Sable paid up. I'm like, no, bro. Sable did not train you up like that. Sable didn't train me at every.
Black Widow clone.
Like, come on, bro. But
nah, yeah, man. I definitely love the game. I can't wait for some DLC to drop. Maybe some new game plus would be cool, so it makes it easier.
Yep.
There is some complaints, like I said, like they left a lot of stuff out. Like I will say that this game, it feels dead after you beat it. Like once you 100% your playthrough that you're on right now, it ain't shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like the crimes pop up very slow. The city is empty.
Yeah,
like,
damn near like
nothing
save.
there.
Like,
So
y'all
like,
niggas
like,
retired.
I was literally, I was like, bro, like Miles, you can retire too, because there ain't nothing for you to do.
Yeah, bro.
like you can literally,
go live your life, bro.
literally. So.
Yeah, man. I love the game though, man. But anything you want to add?
Nah, man, I think that was it. This was. I think we got it off our chest, man. Marvel needs to figure it out because this is just kind of just getting annoying. As fans of Marvel and just kind of knowing what we think we want and how Marvel just can't seem to hit the head on anything like that, it kind of just sucks to see that. And nobody else is struggling like this.
Nobody.
I mean, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones fans, like House of the Dragon season 2 comes out in summer. They're getting lucky. They're getting blessed. You know what I'm saying? Other characters, other shows are getting their thing, and Marvel's kind of just like out there shooting in the dark.
Like we should. Let's, here, take this. Take this instead.
Like, take the Marvels, bro.
Yeah, but I don't want to give them that many excuses because even like
I
you didn't have 2020.
Like,
even if you couldn't produce nothing in 2020, you had all this time, at the house to think about like, yo, like what worked, what didn't work.
You already missed 1 year, man. You could have just took another half a year if it really took to find out your storyline instead of pushing stuff out. But it's that money, man. That money talks.
Yeah. So. Thank you guys. Well, I do want to share a message real quick. I feel like as humans, we kind of underestimate this thing. Just how much you put on your plate, man. I look at things from a year ago and where I was at compared to now, and I definitely have grown as a person. I still have more growing to do, but I feel like the world, every human, goes through struggles and. They from a year from now, you probably weren't happy or you probably were happier than you are now. And I just want to say keep going and, find ways to motivate yourself to be a better person and better your life because, you don't want to take life or anything around you for granted, really, because you really don't know, anything one day can just be taken away, So I would say that just push and thrive each day to get better so that, when you look back, you can say, okay, I tried because the worst thing is having regret in life. The worst thing really is having regret in life. Looking back saying, I could have did this. I could have this. We're only young for so long. We're only on this earth for so long. So really just go out there and just motivate yourself to be better and push yourself to do things that you want to do in life. So
Work, because I bet 20 last week and only won 400. I could have bet 100 and won 4,000.
see what I'm
so.
saying? Like, come on,
I
bro.
feel like I got that regret for the rest of my life
you
now.
gotta think about that for you know what I mean. So
you got to think about it. So Demond making a good point. I regret that, and now I hate myself for it.
You know what I mean? Like, just try your best to live life without regrets, man. Really, cause you know, it's so much in this world that is easily underestimated and we don't really think about. So, you know, live without regrets. Go out there, live your life, have fun, and enjoy your moments, man. Enjoy your moments with your peoples, your family, your friends, your pets, everything. You know, don't take nothing for granted. So, thank you guys for tuning in to Virtuoso's podcast. We're gonna go ahead and log off. We also have the Loki.
Watch party.
Yeah, Loki watch party tonight. I know we were dogging the MCU. Like, we want MCU to be good. Like, we not sitting up here.
We're not
we want it to
haters.
be good. We're not haters.
We're not
but-
sitting up here like to make people mad. Like, we're just talking about what we want, and we're still going to support the MCU until we feel like we can't no more.
That's what I'm
Really,
saying.
it's
Like,
just what it
it's
is.
bullshit at this point. You know what I mean? And another thing I do want to say though, before we go off. Okay, listen. Yeah. All right. There's 30 NBA teams. Whoop de fucking do that we don't think the Nuggets can repeat. Calm your asses down. Like, yo,
No, bro.
Christian Braun is a 6'7" athletic wing from this and that. Like, yo, chill, bro. Like,
No, bro.
yo,
You
it's
don't
30
know-
teams in the NBA.
you
It's
don't
very
know,
hard to repeat in today's NBA, bro. It's very hard.
No, you don't know.
In
that
our
right.
opinions, you know what I'm saying? Yes, they have solid players. They're going to contend. But, bro, all right, we just don't think they're going to repeat. It's just too hard in the NBA. But I'm just going to leave that there. You know what I mean? I'm just going to leave that there. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week, man.
Well, how dare you not know Julian